Hey, welcome back. We're doing an initial ride review of the 2020 YT Capra Base 29. So to start things off, I did make some changes before I finally got it out on the trail. I added some 3M tape. You could add Invisiframe or any type of covering you want to help protect your paint. It did add a little gloss to it, which I kind of like. I added some O-ring grips on here, some lock-ons. Now, there was nothing wrong with the grips that were on it. They were quite comfortable. These are a little bit more cushiony, and I like the color on something match your bike, right? Change that to stem cap, no big deal there. Added a mud guard, because that's kind of mandatory. The seat, though, I swapped out to a WTB Coda. The stock seat is a pretty nice seat, but it's only about 135 millimeters wide, and I need a 145 millimeter seat. So WTB makes some excellent seats. The Coda seat's one of my favorites, so in went the Coda. Pedaling Innovations pedals, the Catalyst pedals, love them. They're phenomenal. I actually haven't even slipped a pedal on this yet. I did set the bike up tubeless. It comes with the valves. The rims are already taped, so all you need to buy is the sealant. I, however, went and bought E13 anodized blue valve stems, added those instead of the black valve stems that come with the bike. So it's been set up tubeless. I made a couple cockpit changes, and you know what? Let's get out on the trail and talk about what I like about this bike.
Climbing isn't what this bike was designed to do, but it's still capable. I found it on par with my Nomad. Seated climbing was much more efficient, as when you stood the pedal, you could feel the suspension eat a bit of the torque you were producing, kind of like there was a sponge in there. Being the base model, the rear shock doesn't have a lockout though. Would be a nice upgrade if you find yourself struggling on climbs. I'm also considering an oval chainring to see if it helps with my climbing prowess. Look forward to that in a future video as well. Once I pointed her downhill, I realized she's not quite the same as my Nomad. While she does roll over rocks and other terrain easily, the Nomad did it as if you were picturing a monster truck rolling over some crushed cars. The terrain didn't matter. The Capra is more nimble and responsive feeling, more like a stadium truck than a monster truck. Good, but different. The fork I set up using RockShox's Trailhead app. If you've not tried it to set up your RockShox forks, I highly suggest it. It'll about get you spot on every time. The rear shock, I just set it 30% sag, and it seemed to work great for me. The suspension worked very well throughout the whole ride. I had no complaints about it and didn't feel I needed to adjust anything. The dropper post, being YT's own in-house brand, worked flawlessly. Some of you probably heard the stories of the E13 dropper posts. Gone are those days. YT does their own in-house one now. It doesn't pop up super fast like some brands do, so you're not worried about some damages to the goods. And it's just perfect. So if it continues to function this way, I can't recommend it enough. So time will tell, and we may revisit this later. The braking feel was typical SRAM. Nice modulation, great stopping power. A couple times I grabbed a fistful of brake and had to hold on due to the stopping power. I was underestimating it a little bit, if you will. Shifting on point, nice and crisp. I've seen where some other people had made mention of the rear derailleur they had upgraded. I don't see that in my near future. So, but again, time will tell. Overall initial impression is I am very pleased with this purchase. For $1,000 less than an aluminum Nomad, I feel I have a bike that performs on par with the Nomad, perhaps even better due to the responsiveness. However, we're talking about two different wheel sizes here. So should you buy a Capra? I feel you can't pass on price, as you get a lot of bike for your buck. If you ride any park or find yourself in need of this much travel, I'd say definitely. If most of your day is climbing or tight single track, you may want to consider the Jeffsy or the Izzo. I'm dying to test ride those as well. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so you'll get the scoop when I do, which hopefully shouldn't be too much further in the future.
So I hope you found this helpful, and don't forget, thumbs up down below and subscribe. You gotta subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check that little bell icon. You'll get notified every time I put out new video content. Look forward to more reviews, more ride footage in the future.